So I have a feeling you haven't I can't, it hasn't updated yet. Yeah. Why can't I see anything? Oh, by the way, I sent you that. I did send you the video from the kid that said he was temporarily in the cell with Luigi. I sent it to you via your a text message, so it's probably gonna show as a TikTok. Yeah, because believe me, I saw that and I did not know if I believed it at first. Yeah, I can't hit the behind the scenes for whatever reason. It's not letting me. Try this another way. Let's try this. Shorts playlist, popular order, membership. Brutally Honest is in. No, it's okay. I'm gonna ask the Discord chat if anyone else can get in there. Yeah.
Hang on, I muted it. I muted it so I wouldn't have echo. Maybe, I don't know. Hold on. Hold on. Keep talking.
Amanda? Hi, kitty cat. Hi, kitty cat.
Video is working over there.
It is?
Video is working over there.
Mhm.
You
So can
cut
the
me off
YouTube people
early and I
talk?
couldn't help people on TikTok, Lee. As soon as you cut off the stream on TikTok, I can no longer message people, so I couldn't get these people over here. Right, but and I don't remember her message. Somebody said they needed help. Hello something, but but I lost their whole name and they probably lost mine too. So I haven't got any message from them.
Michael, yeah. I didn't realize after I watched it that that was his actual name. But yeah, it's just basically, hey guys, I was in MDC and I was in Luigi's cell. He's like, I was a cellie, I was a cellmate. It's not like it sounds like the kid was just passing through. He says that they brought him in and they said, hey, who do you want a room with? And he's like, I mean, I don't know. They were like, do you have any affiliations? Do you have anything like that? And he's like, no, man, I'm Italian. They put him in a cell with Luigi. And apparently they said to him, because he tells the story, they said to him, okay, cool, we're going to put you in with Luigi. And he said that in his mind, he thought, like, no way, not that Luigi. But when he got in there, he said Luigi was like really cool. Like, good, got up, shook his hand, said, hey, man. And apparently the kid said to Luigi, wow, what an honor to meet you. Oh, yeah. I've sent you the video. Watch it real quick. See if you can. Yeah, and for some reason I believed the kid. And it was so funny because people in the comments were like, "Wow, he's good looking too." I'm like, "Well, yeah, he's Italian." Um, so but literally he said he made the comment that most of the people that go into the MTC, they don't stay for long periods of time. Usually it's like a temporary drop you before they ship you to where you're actually going. That's kind of what he said. I don't know how long he was in there for, but if he did, he's a really cool kid and good for. I'm glad Luigi had someone in there to talk to and stuff. That's his age. He's his age too, so it would have probably been really good for him to be able to be like, because the kid looked maybe a little younger than Luigi. He looked 26, 27. But yeah, so I was excited. I'm getting my wine. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out where I put the wine. I can only see the vodka. There it is.
Hey Lee, could you make me admin over on your YouTube Devil's Advocates After Dark thing? I don't have any issues, but it'd be nice to have that privilege.
It probably would be, yeah. Who knows it? Yeah.
Thank you.
What Natasha's doing? Back, I gotta take the trash out.
I did, but I have it muted now, so I just wanted to make sure that they can hear it.
Yay!
So Nyan has some stuff that she'd like to share on YouTube, but she doesn't want to get on the mic, so maybe you can relay that stuff and talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. See, isn't that what I just said? That's what they said. They're like, well, we have Luigi. Yeah, I'm gonna get duh. Johnny. Oddly enough, yes, it is Jay. That was the name. I only know that because I'm talking to a guy named Jay right now. It's funny you should mention that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to remember that. So yeah. That's funny. Oh. But yeah, it's really the videos. It's pretty cute. Like it's pretty cute. I'm such a girl. I believe him
Okay.
though, and I don't really believe a lot, but I believe this kid. I don't know why.
So just
But I
clarify, Neon, can you hear me on YouTube now? I guess I was muted. I guess YouTube was hearing you guys all talk, and it was all a one-sided conversation. They weren't hearing my rambling ass. And now I think I fixed that. But is there an echo? Because right now you're getting my USB mic, and are you also getting the video feed or whatever through Discord? Okay, so you hear me. Is there an echo? Is it horrendous? I could take my, well, can I take my glasses
Yeah,
off?
you don't
'Cause
need to drink the water. Oh, you need to drink the water?
I don't have an echo. No echo. Holy shit. Okay. So here's the good thing. I think we're set as far as we can now have a loose, friendly conversation. However, my drink, which is nearing bottom, I need to go retop that. So now that the audio is all worked out, if I don't know who's needing help getting in, I need help. So Callie, by the way, Rhonda, on YouTube, the username was CALI. That's who was said she wanted help, or he wanted help, or whoever. I think it's probably a she, but Do you know that? But here's something odd. Maybe you girls in here can tell me this. 75% of my audience is female most of the time. Sometimes it runs a little closer 50-50, but I'm trying to... Is it because the Luigi thing? Because I cover Cobra Girl a lot.
You do cover Cobra Girl a lot. I think it's just because it's true crime. I don't think it has anything to do with... Honestly. Because
so more females are into the true crime thing?
I feel like Birdie's audience is the same way.
Yeah.
And I know when I used to follow Jason Brooks.
Yeah.
All women. There were no men. Well, there was that one guy. But yeah, I just think it's because we love true crime.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
That's my guess. But
I'm gonna go re-top off my drink if you guys don't mind chit-chatting. I'm gonna leave an open mic like a moron. I could mute myself, but why not? It's more fun. I could say something really embarrassing in the background.
No worries.
I'll be right back.
How's the new kitten, Rhonda?
Adorable. Have you seen him yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, he's so tiny and cute.
Really? What's her name?
It's a boy, and his name is Icarus.
Icarus, okay.
Or Icky's for short.
That's cute. Icky? That's cute. Come on, Curtis. Come on, Curtis. My cat, well, he's not a kitten anymore, but he was when I got him. His name's Curtis Jackson. Named him after 50 Cent. Come on, Curtis. Because the Diddy trial had just started, and I love 50 Cent. Like, so when I got him, and Curtis, he was just being a piece of work, pain in my ass. He was the whole problem, and I looked at him, and I was like, I'm going to name you Curtis. So I have Curtis Jackson, the kitten. So, and he is the whole problem. He dumps his toy box over. He's like having a toddler again.
Have the dogs been fed?
I didn't feed them.
I'm gonna feed them real quick.
Okay. Come on. You drinking water? Oh. Kitty, come on. Did the dog like the kitten?
Yeah, the dogs are nice to him. The cats, not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of lick him a little bit and sniff him, and then they hiss.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to get acclimated.
Yeah.
Oh, you sent that video to me. Cool. I haven't checked
You
my
got
email.
it too? Good. Yeah, I sent it both. I was I was trying to send it to I was having trouble sending it through. How did I send it? Was it
TikTok.
Instagram?
Yeah.
TikTok? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Because I was having trouble attaching it. I sent it over to Natasha too. And because I know she's going to be very excited to see that. So yeah, I hope he has people. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I think that he has people. So
I found that person that they're not responding to me though. Maybe we'll not get him in tonight. Darn it.
the person that wanted to come over that couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. I found them. It's hello from Callie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I get the dogs outside to go to the bathroom, you gotta trade off and get like something where I'm...
Boy, that salad didn't do it for me tonight. I'm so hungry. Come on, Curtis. Come on, Curtis.
As soon as Lee gets back on, I gotta go feed his aunt and get some food. And then I'll bring the kitty so you can see the new kitty.
What time is it there? It's 2
7:30.
hours? Yes, yeah, it's 9:30 here. I'm in Dallas. Yeah, so.
I've only been to Texas once. We went to, I guess, last year for the eclipse. Was that the year before?
Here. Yeah, it was here. I stood on my balcony. Yeah.
We went to Baylor University.
Yeah, in Waco. Yeah, that's about an hour and a half from here. Yeah. Did they have a big like watch party? They did, right?
It did, yeah. There was a whole bunch of different companies there. I can't remember who was there, but
No, it's okay.
they had a big screen
Yeah,
and they
we
had lots
were-
of speakers and stuff. It was
Oh,
really cool,
fun.
and we had a really good view, no clouds. It was awesome.
Yeah. Because I know that was one of the, I remember the day of the eclipse. It was one of our work from home days. So, I mean, my boss is super chill. Like he doesn't even, my boss lets me stop. My boss knows I stop and watch Luigi when he went to court. My
Uh-huh.
boss totally knew. Like I had told him. I was like, from between this time and this time, I'm gonna
Getting
have
the
it
work
on. and I'm
done.
gonna- Yeah, and he's totally like he doesn't. It doesn't faze him. It doesn't bother him at all. He's cool
Nice.
about it. So I've got the best boss in the world. But the day of the eclipse, I told him I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go outside, and I did. I literally went and stood outside for about 30 minutes. I got on top of my car, with my glasses and just stood there and watched it. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
So what do you do?
I do, it's accounting basically, it's dispute management. So we manage country clubs and golf clubs and resorts throughout
Okay.
the country. And so when a member goes in, those members those people that pay like $20,000 just to become a member of a country club,
Uh-huh.
when they go in and something happens with their account, or they don't feel they had the level of service that they needed or deserved, they do a dispute, basically a complaint, and I resolve complaints, and then I don't resolve shit. I take the complaint, log the complaints, send the complaints out to be fixed. And that's when my job is supposed to be done, but it rarely is, because usually they don't, not everything is resolved as quickly as it should, and then I have to intervene and issue credits. And so it's accounting, because I deal with debits, credits, and billing, but it's also
Mhm.
a lot of customer relations. Thank God I don't have to talk to anybody on the phone. It's all via
Okay.
email, and it's with our club
Oh.
staff. That's great.
Oh, that's cool. I used to do customer service. I did call center work for years and years and years. And I was the
Yeah.
supervisor for most of the time.
Yeah, I did that a while back, and got into more of a billing side. And then actually a headhunter found me. Like I didn't even apply for this job. She found me because my resume was up on something,
Uh-huh.
and she was like, just hear me out, because this job doesn't even have a title yet. And I was like, okay. And I let her talk,
You're
and
like,
she
show
goes,
me the money, right?
yeah. And I'm like, how does it not have a title yet? And she said, because as it stands right now, the job that you're going to be doing is being handled at the club level. So all of our country clubs, over 200 throughout the country, are doing it themselves. You're like, we need somebody in-house that can monitor what they're doing and make sure that they're doing it and track their numbers.
So are you one person doing all those?
I was. Well, they hired me somebody else. They got me somebody else.
Oh, nice.
And then he passed away.
Oh,
Yeah, he had some health problems. He passed away. It was during COVID, not of COVID, but it was during COVID. And during that time, a lot of the stuff dipped down, because we had a lot of clubs have a lot of clubs up in the Northeast. So golf clubs in like upstate New York and Connecticut, you know what I mean? So our business was kind of taking a hit. So I could handle it for a long time. And basically, I still handle it all now that the world's reopened, and my boss is just really, well, I've been doing it for 6 years, so I can do it. I'm pretty proficient. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I can handle a lot of it on my own. And when I can't, my boss jumps in, because like I said, best boss ever.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I actually really like it, because people like hit you up, like, would you like a new job? And I'm like, no, I would not. I actually love my job. Thank you for asking.
Nice.
It makes life easier. Yeah. Are you retired too, or?
I have a quilting, a long arm quilting business out of the home.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I can make my own hours and all that good stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I love it. I love getting paid for something I love to do. So.
I was about to say, that's got to be nice. Something you truly, truly enjoy.
Mhm.
It's got to be great.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying
it's
to
amazing.
pull off here, but
I know.
So I'm going to take off for a little bit, you guys. I'll be back.
Okay. Who else is here?
Not very many of us, and that's what worries me. Well, I don't know what to make of this. Like, I hear people a lot of times say, "Oh my gosh, that's a cool idea doing this after dark party," and then like it's only like 3 or 4 of us every single time. Like, I don't get. There's a lot more.
So who's Rebecca? Is Rebecca brutally honest?
I don't know. Is Rebecca brutally honest?
Say something, Rebecca.
I'm here. Sorry, I stepped away. I am brutally honest, but no, I'm Rebecca.
Hey.
Okay, so Rebecca is brutally honest on YouTube, right?
No, I'm just Rebecca. That's a brutally honest Rebecca.
Oh, okay. See, that's why I was
Yeah.
like, are you brutally honest, or are you
The
brutally
girls
honest?
got it. We were giggling.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's character trait.
Guys, take a minute.
I'm old. I'm slow.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye now.
Or Bob, she's muted. She's still here, but yeah, she can hear us.
Yeah. Well, she probably can't because she's stepping away from her computer, but she just left herself logged into the channel. But she may be. So you say everything with caution because she might be sneakily listening.
That's okay.
Apparently, Michael was arrested for making 3D guns. That's interesting. Holy crap, Neon! It's got to be super late for you. What? It's got to be like 6 in the morning for you, or is that early? Would we call it early or we call it late? It's gonna be 4.
Is that where's Neon from? Where does she live?
Somewhere over in Europe, I think. I'm trying to remember.
So she's not the one from Australia. We have somebody that comes in that's from Australia.
Yeah, we've got a couple people I think that have come in from Australia.
I wonder if they are the names that are in the letter log that came from Australia.
Oh, speaking of the letter log, has it been updated anytime recently, or?
I haven't looked at it because
Well,
I haven't looked at it.
I doubt it. I've been writing every Sunday, but I've only written for like 3 Sundays in a row, maybe even 2 Sundays. 2 Sundays in a row, and then the one
you've
from
written more than me.
before that. Yeah, I wasn't going to write it all,
More than I
but
have.
people talked me into it. By the way, I even wrote to the legal team, which somebody else talked me into doing that too. Let's see.
Hold on, I got a cat fight.
Oh,
What
shit.
did you say, Lee?
Oh, I said I wrote to the legal team as well. Like they have a contact thing on the thing. Like, do you have anything for the legal team?
Oh, I want to write to Karen. I love Karen. I love Queen Karen.
Yeah, Karen seems to be really good at her job. So yeah, and I was talking to. It was funny. I mentioned this in the live a little bit, but I was talking to Ali Benevento privately, and I said, hey, what do you think about this prosecution's motion? And if it were true that Luigi did it, how would that change your opinion? And she's like, it doesn't change my opinion at all. She's like, and as I stated, like she says, my job as an attorney is to defend not my character's my client's character, but their constitutional rights, and that's still what she would be all fighting. Is like, you still have to obey the law and do it the right way. So it doesn't matter in her mind, and I understand it, whether or not he's guilty or not. Like she's still interested in the case and making sure they're not doing shitty shit.
Fair trial.
Right.
Yeah. I love her. I love her so much.
Ali?
Like, I just love her.
Yeah.
I think I've said that before. Because and she knows it too, because if I'm in a live or whatever, she'll be like, "Hi, Kimberly," and I'm just like, "Her."
Oh yeah, Neon's in
I just love her.
Sweden. Did you see that with Neon's in Sweden? Holy
Sweden.
shit, Sweden.
Wow.
4:45 in the morning, which I would think that means she stayed up. Although she could have set an alarm and got up, but.
We could have gone up to go to the gym. I got up one day this week to go to the gym at 5:30, and I got up at 4:30 because I went to a cycle class at 5:30 before work.
Neon, by the
Never
way,
know.
it's still because of you. It's still because of you primarily that I cover, when I do a dual night, I cover Luigi first for you. Because I know that if you do happen to get in, you're getting in freaking at the end of a long day or whatever. So I'm still trying to make it so we cover Luigi first when you're in the room, especially when you're in the room. But,
Nice. Everybody loves Luigi.
yeah, they do. And I was curious how people will feel if it turns out that he was guilty, whether people will still love him as much. They probably still will.
I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. Totally.
I you know what? Like I've decided, and I was when I the reason I came onto the live late was because my son called, and he's 20, so when he calls, you stop because that means he made time in his very busy schedule.
Right.
Even though he lives 10 miles away at his dad's house. His dad never even sees him. He called me one time. He's like, "Where's Austin?" And I'm like, "He lives with you, sir. That's your responsibility." And he's like, "We haven't seen him in 2 days." And then I hear his stepmom walk in the room and go, No, he was here yesterday. He took clothes and he left." So I'm just excited when Austin calls. So I was like on the live. I was still reading all the moderator stuff, but I was talking to him the whole time.
What bothers me, like
yeah.
like Neanne said, and like you said, and like I've said, it doesn't really matter to us whether Luigi's guilty or not. One of the things that bothers me, though, is the way the prosecution shamed, as if we were disgusting human beings. Anybody that would be able to feel some kind of sympathy for Luigi Mangione, like, you know, you're a disgusting human being if you think there's any possible justification for what he did. And I'm like, there is totally, like, you know how many people in America that are thinking about killing somebody from the health insurance industry because of this shit? Like, it's something I think a lot of Americans can sympathize with. People worldwide in Sweden can sympathize with it. So for them to act like everybody's disgusting for even contemplating the possibility that they can sympathize with the situation is out of touch, completely out of touch with Americans and their lived experience, as somebody would say.
Lived experience.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you know what I say to that? Fuck them.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what anybody thinks.
Right.
I don't. I do not give two fucking shits anymore. I just don't. It's great. It's great being 45. I don't care what anybody thinks about anything.
I'm starting to get there. I've been a super people pleaser my entire life, but as I've literally, YouTube is teaching me to not give a shit as much, because when I started getting beat up really bad, I actually started getting depressed. And then I went out and I started reading, like, how do people deal with it? And the one thing they basically said was, well, I don't need to know what to say. But the point being is that I learned, they're like, just let it roll off your back. Like, people are just shitty. And you should spend no time giving a fuck what other people think about you, kind of thing. So I'm trying to get there, and I'm getting better at it. But I still struggle a little bit.
It's okay that you care what other people think. I'm not saying that you shouldn't care what people think. I'm a deeply flawed individual, and I know it.
Yeah.
And like I straight up know it. Like, and I say I don't care because of years of trauma and abuse and being a people pleaser. You know, so
yeah.
You know, well, it's okay to care what people think. I'm a stark raving. You're not gonna let me brush my teeth in here, are you, you damn? He's drinking water out of the faucet when I'm trying to brush my teeth.
They lock
there's
Luigi.
nothing wrong with people like that.
They lock Luigi in the showers. Neanne says. Where'd you hear that information? That's interesting.
I heard he cleans the showers, and that's his
That's
job.
that's what she said. He cleans the showers, and they lock Luigi in the showers for his safety.
Oh, well,
And I'm thinking to myself, does he really need to? I really don't think prisoners are going to be after Luigi. I mean, somebody could be hired to take out Luigi, but prisoners in general, it's not like he's a child molester. It's not like he stole somebody's money. Those two people are really, really high targets in prison, but I don't know that his thing would be considered that big of a problem in prison.
No, I worry about somebody being paid to take him out like a guard. That's what I worry
That's exactly
about.
what I would say. Somebody might pay somebody to take him out. Somebody like from the insurance industry or something.
Or hurt him in general.
Yeah.
He's so pretty. Hurt him in general.
Yeah,
that's what I worry about.
Yeah.
You know? I watched way too much Sons of Anarchy. I remember what they did to Juice in prison. So, like, that's what I worry about. Seriously, I was seriously worried about that. Like, a part of me, low-key, actually hoped maybe he was gay, so if it happened to him, it wouldn't be so traumatic. But now I know he's safe, so I don't worry about it anymore. I mean, it would still be traumatic, but you know what I mean.
Oh, Jeremy dealt blackjack for 17 years. Were you at a casino dealing black? And that's interesting. I would be curious to know a thing or two about dealing and what kind of casino is it? Like a U.S. casino or like a Vegas? Well, I guess Vegas is in the U.S., but you know what I'm saying. Like, was it like on an Indian reservation casino, or is it like in Vegas casino? I'm curious. It's interesting stuff.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Jeremy on YouTube was saying that he dealt blackjack for 17 years, and it was hard dealing with assholes day in and day out.
Okay. That's fun. Sorry, I was running water.
Yeah, I mean, it's people are brutal. People are super brutal on YouTube, and some people have pointed out, like, some of those brutal comments might even be bots. They might not even be real people. There's bots out there that just purposely, like, shred your account to try to make you hate your life and, you know, not want to do what you're doing. And
And people are awful. I mean, people are awful. I'm not gonna lie. And if you catch me on a bad day or you get on my wrong side, like I said, I'm damaged. I can be awful too. But it takes a lot to get me there. But yeah, people are more like fuck people, man.
Yeah, Neon.
Let's go.
I will, Neon. I will listen to Michael's clip. I think Kimberly sent it to me, and maybe more than one person sent it to me. So I will definitely listen to it myself for my own opinions, and then I will decide on my own opinions whether or not that's something I want to go public with on my main channel or do it like a members only thing. It really depends on how comfortable I feel with the my gut reaction to whether that's a real thing or somebody just trying to get 15 minutes of fame by saying I was in there with Luigi.
Google him. You can Google him and make sure that kid's real and really in the system. That's what I'm going to do later.
Right, but could you, even if you can prove, and that's one thing to do, to prove that he's in the system, but could you ever prove that they were housed together just because he's in the system? You could at least get close to say, well, he is a prisoner and he has been in the system, but can you get him in the same cell? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they'll give out that information, like what cell number they are, but I mean, he didn't give anything groundbreaking. It's not like he said things like, he told me he prefers blondes over brunettes. You know what I mean? It's not like he said anything groundbreaking and earth-shattering that could somehow be controversial. So, I mean, I don't know why you would lie about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you, by the way.
He didn't walk in and say, I did it. He told me he did it, and he'd do it again. You know, he didn't. If he posted something like that, I'd be like, yeah, go fuck yourself, bro. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, watch it later. It's short. It's not like it's a long video. I want to see it's like 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like...
So I was just saying, thanks to Cloud. Cloud recommended a book, the proven self-compassion, the proven power of being kind to yourself. I will check that book out. I really find Jay Shetty on YouTube has got a lot of stuff. I'm also into Stoicism, which you wouldn't believe it by the way that I have such concerns about people think of me, because basically Stoicism is quit giving a shit what people think about you. Yeah. But anyways, I love Stoicism. So.
Yeah. I know who Jay Shetty is. I feel like one of my friends used to follow him and talk about him a lot. He's a comedian, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I'm not sure. He's like got 4 million followers on YouTube. I don't know if he's just into guru self-help rah-rah stuff or if he does other stuff. But
then he may not be who I'm thinking of, because the guy I'm thinking of is a comedian, Jay Shetty.
If Michael made 3D guns, I wonder what conversations he had with Luigi. Yeah. You know, the 3D gun thing is... I'm trying to remember. So this is what's funny. I've covered this case since day one. Refresh my memory about... I'm going to admit an embarrassing fact. I'm going to admit that really something I can't believe I can't remember. How did we know in the early stages they told us that Brian Thompson was shot with a ghost gun? And then later on when they made the arrest, they said, hey, look, Luigi had a ghost gun or a 3D printer.
I know why. I know why.
How?
Because when they first showed the video, when we first saw those videos, they kept saying they were showing the picture and they were trying to identify what kind of gun that was.
Okay.
Was it a Glock? Was it a 9? I don't know. And someone made the comment, it was Good Morning, I believe it was probably Good Morning America, because that's usually what I have on in the morning, said, that doesn't look like a typical gun. It almost looks like a veterinarian gun or something that they would use on, literally, they said cattle.
Wow. When
they were shooting, like a tranquilizer gun. They said that's what it looked like. Someone spoke up and said, someone spoke up from there and said that it was they somehow determined it was a 3D printed gun.
Okay.
Based off the appearance of it. And they said they could tell something by the way the bullets fired, that it wasn't a standard gun.
Well, it might have been the jam, you know, because he was it looked like he was manually cycling the gun every single shot. So.
Can I talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Remember how I said I'm deeply flawed?
Yeah.
I watched that footage the other day.
Yeah.
Right, where he just walks up and pops him, or whoever he is, we're not saying he is Luigi, walks up, pops him, and I was like, and my fucked up mind was like, God damn it, that's hot. And then he stopped and he shook the gun and he rattled the gun, and I just sat there and I was like, ooh, I have problems, Lee. I have problems. I love a red flag.
This is a safe space. You're in a safe space, so it's okay. It's all good.
And so unlike, and I remember I told Natasha that I was like, hey, I watched the video where he was clearing that jam. God damn it, that was hot. And it was just, I don't know, there's something wrong with me. God, there's something so wrong with me. But anyways,
it's interesting because, well, you bring up a good point, and so the getting, having a few drinks in me, Lee, is wanting to say, like, I wonder, like, how much. So this is a stereotype. So I'm going to say a stereotypical thing. Women, don't murder me on this.
Okay.
Like, there's the traditional stereotype that women like the bad boy. So how much is the appeal because he did something bad, right? Like, he's a bad boy. He's got all this confidence that he's willing to kill somebody. How much of it factors in? It's not. I mean, obviously it's his looks. We know it's his looks. But how much does the bad boy thing play into women's appeal for him? Is it just the looks, or is it also because he did some horrendous thing and that makes him a bad boy?
All right. Well, I feel like it's, you know what it feels like right now? Birdie and Phoenix, because we're the only ones talking right now. That's what this feels like.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Birdie and Phoenix. Okay. So, I have been told recently that the bad boy thing is actually very overrated.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. Right.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Yeah, I think for me personally, yeah. He looks, yeah, I'm not going to say that part out loud. Yeah. Because,
well, Nian says it's
he's
not
very clean.
Yeah, Nian says it's not. He's not a bad boy because he's just taking out the trash. Like, it wasn't. He didn't do something bad. He did a good thing, right? A noble thing, right?
Yeah, and like I said, and I think I've made the comment. I don't know if you were in the chat last week when me and Chancey were going back and forth, or Thicker were going back and forth, and I was talking about how I know for a fact in real life he would never like me because of my personality, because I'm very abrasive, I'm very loud, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I know in real, we would not get along, right? And part of the reason that I think that is because he is the sweet kid.
I've got an
nice guy.
overshare. Did I tell you about my tattoo and the bad boy thing?
No.
Okay, this is this is a Lee After Dark overshare moment. Are you ready? So,
yeah.
Decades ago, I was attracted to this female, and she wouldn't, and we had a great friendship, and I started to develop feelings for her, but she just, it wasn't reciprocated. In fact, one of the first things she met when she realized that we were flirting with each other, she's like, I want to get something straight. We will never, ever have a sexual relationship. I'm like, oh, okay, so anyways, so the point being is, then I saw her, like, being attracted to every bad boy in the world, and one of the things I've gotten my entire life is, you're such a nice guy, and I'm like, I am so fucking tired of women telling me I'm a nice guy. I'm going to do something to try to dirty myself up a little bit. So I got my first ever tattoo because I was terrified to getting one, and I made it dark, and I made it a little evil, and, like, I've had people laugh at me, like even my wife laugh and go, honey, that's not going to make you a bad boy. Like, you can get all the tattoos you want, it is not going to change you to be a bad boy. I'm sorry. I'm like, damn it, like, I just can't pull off the bad boy thing because you're such a nice guy. Like, fuck, if I hear one more time I'm a nice guy, I'm going to shoot somebody. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't think that a tattoo necessarily makes you a bad boy. My felon that I was in love with, my murderer, that I almost married, he didn't have a tattoo on his body.
Yeah.
Not a single one. And he looked like the kind of guy that would. Like, I had friends that would ask me, they'd see me, and she'd be like, does he have a lot of tattoos on his arms? I'm like, I wish. I wish he'd get, I would. But he just hated him to the point where I was going to get one, and he, like, shamed me for it.
Wow.
And he was like, you're going to really mark up your body like that? And I was like, yeah. I said, I'm going to get a cross. I'm getting an infinity cross.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, it doesn't matter. And I was just like, and it was so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I got one. Like, we broke up years later. Me and my best friend went, and I finally got the tattoo I always wanted, but...
Interesting.
I mean, I don't think he's a bad boy. I don't think Luigi's a bad boy in any sense of the word. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
But I think it's incredibly hot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna. There's something wrong with me. I mean, there's something wrong with me.
Everybody's a little broken in some weird way. You're just letting it out.
I'm just honest about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just totally honest about it. I was watching The Handmaid's Tale today, and they did something awful to Serena, and I literally laughed by myself in my house while I was working. Laughed at the horrible thing they did to Serena. I was like, yeah, I'm fucked up. I need to go to therapy. But, you know. But, I mean, he can't help that he's good looking. So all these men out there that are scared or pissed off and mad that he's attractive, I mean, it's not his fault. They need to let that go.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are there men you think that are mad that he's attractive, or?
Yeah, there's a lot of men out there that say, "Oh," and they're right, but still shut up.
Yeah.
If he wasn't good looking, we wouldn't care.
Oh, right.
Well, we care. We wouldn't
just
be
helps.
doing the write-in for Sexiest Man Alive and,
Right.
you know, trying to get him on The Bachelor. You know, we'd care.
You know,
But-
that reminds, you just brought up an interesting thing. It used to be, I don't even know if they do this anymore. People magazine used to have the Sexiest Man Alive every single year. And I wonder,
Yeah.
would they even touch that with a 10-foot pole if it happened that people were writing in Luigi for Sexiest Man Alive? Would they have the balls to actually put it on their cover, or would they be like, yeah, we're going to go to number 2 on the list?
I don't know
I think
if people would, but
put,
Cosmo
one of the
would.
Boston Bombers on the front of their cover.
What's that?
The Rolling Stone put one of the Boston Bombers, the
Oh, yeah?
surviving younger brother. They put him
Really?
on the front cover.
Wow.
You know what,
So I
though?
would-
They used to talk about the Menendez brothers and how hot they were. I was too young when that happened to remember if they made the list that year, but possible.
Yeah.
Because now the way they do it, it's not just one person. Now they do it like categories, right?
Right.
For Sexiest Man. Like, they don't have these sexiest. They like have different, well, they might. But like, I remember the last time I bought one because Channing Tatum was in it. There were like 12 other guys in that. I love Channing Tatum.
Oh, by the way,
Oh,
this
sure.
is random because this is what this show is completely random after dark. I watched. I'm not 100% done. I'm like 99% or 90% done. The special on Brett Favre. You know who that is? On Netflix.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you see that? Did any one of you see that?
Yes,
No.
I did. I was blown away.
But
Is he an asshole?
here's what I want to ask since you saw it. Did you-
Undercover a-hole, apparently.
There was
Okay.
the story includes Brett Favre making sexual advances to a woman that worked in kind of the organization near him that was not requited, right? She didn't want to have anything to do with that, and so he
Right.
sent her an unsolicited dick
Actually
pic.
met him.
Right. So he sent her an unsolicited dick pic from the field, and
my God.
George Stephanopoulos acted, I swear to God, on that documentary, he acted like he was surprised that she wasn't flattered. He was stunned. He was like, so you had a problem with this dick pic? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, but you got it from Brett Favre. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, like you just went on camera acting like you don't understand why a woman might not be flattered of getting an unsolicited dick pic when she didn't ask for it. Like, and he was like, well, but it's Brett Favre.
You know why he takes that opinion?
Huh.
Probably because he's done it. 'Cause he's done it.
Right.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing worse than an unsolicited dick pic.
I
There's
just
not.
I couldn't believe. I used to like George Stephanopoulos decades ago, but seeing him do the whole, like, he was surprised that she wouldn't that she would actually be offended by an unsolicited dick pic. I'm like, how were you
That's
surprised
terrible.
by
That's
this?
to me, that's like one step from predatory behavior. That you don't see a problem with
Right.
that.
Right. That's what I'm like. This is what you call sexual harassment, and you're acting like, well, what's the big deal? Like, it's Brett Favre. Okay, so you can be a predator
Oh my God,
if you got a big enough
Brett
name.
Favre would do that. I mean, that shit could get out. I'm surprised he did that.
Right.
That's so stupid. Although,
Neanne says when Adam Levine was voted
not gonna
hottest, he
repeat
thanked
that.
Ryan for
I'm
turning
not
it down.
repeating that. What did Neanne say?
She said when Adam Levine was voted hottest, he thanked Ryan for turning it down. I think
Oh wow.
that's fucking funny.
The woman
Right.
who received the dick pic,
Mm-hmm.
she even had said that, she found it quite creepy because she thought that his wife looked a lot like herself, too.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
They
The-
do look a lot alike. It was very weird.
She's like, I look like
agree.
his wife.
But I
Yeah.
remember-
The other part that I thought was interesting was the and I mean I know that this isn't about Brett Favre, so I think this will be the last comment I'll make about Brett Favre. But I thought it was interesting when there was like a reporter who knew Brett Favre and had a lot of interactions with Brett Favre, and then Brett Favre's wife gets like leukemia, and he's like, hey, I want you to do a piece about Brett Favre, the family man, and he's like, I'm sorry, I don't write fiction.
That's funny.
It's like, that guy's not a family man. If you know that guy, he's not a
Yeah,
family
that's
man.
funny.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
woman also had a gentleman that was hired to kind of loosely be her bodyguard / assistant.
Yeah.
And he was like witness to all of this. So she has backup. She has receipts of all these horrible things. And it gets worse because apparently she's not even the only one. Allegedly.
Oh, probably not. Probably not. I mean, just because they're athletes or powerful or movie stars or whatever, that doesn't mean they aren't exempt from being douchebags. Just women will put up with it more.
Right.
And I don't think women will put up with it as much anymore since Me Too, and you know what I'm saying? I mean,
everybody has to go through a low time to be able to appreciate the high time. And no matter woman or male or in between, whatever anyone wants to call themselves, everybody wants to be heard and respected. And I think a lot of us are starting to stand up a lot more for that. And that's why there's so many of us true justice seekers out here now, is because we're like, all right, we're going to solve this. We're going to change the world.
Yeah.
We're going to make it better.
yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know. Just crazy. For an athlete to do that and risk it all and realize, especially someone as big as Brett Favre, to me, that's bold, man. That's wild. That's just like, wow, but it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is.
Are the Menendez brothers getting out of jail or not? What's going on with that? Does anybody know?
No. They're
not getting out?
What's that?
They're not getting out, or you don't
No,
know?
I was saying I don't know for sure. I think last I heard was that they were basically going to be allowed to be reconsidered, but I don't think it's been ruled on whether or not they're going to get released or not. So, and I don't know when that's coming
parents
down.
would be dead, so they might as well just let them out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'd be dead by now, so they just need to let them out. They're not a threat to anybody. They're not going to go kill other people.
Night, Neanne. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Good night. Get some sleep, or go start your day and go to the gym.
Yeah, that would suck to start your day after ugh.
I mean, unless like I said, I went to the gym the other day at 5:30. I went to cycle class, and I actually woke up, and it was okay.
Yeah.
I just woke up. I set the alarm for 30 minutes before I actually wanted to be up, so I could slowly wake up. It was okay. I was exhausted by 6 o'clock, but it was okay. Maybe she's just got her body trained to do it.
So on the we don't have a huge matter of fact, we don't have a small following on YouTube, but we do have like 9 people that are hanging out just listening to the chat. If there's somebody out there that wants to hear us talk about something, throw a question out and we'll chat about it, because if you're not in Discord and you're just hanging out and you want us to riff on something or answer a question, let me know and we'll work it into the conversation.
It's fun here.
What's that?
I said, come over, join Discord. It's fun here. I mean, if I figured it out, anybody can.
I'm really struggling to keep people engaged. It's like, it's weird that, like, again, these are so low attended. I think that it has potential to have a lot of fun if people would do it, but we just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem, I don't know if it's because.
I don't know why people want to talk. It's not like we know each other in real life.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's on a Friday night and everybody's out at the bar if they're going to drink,
I think that's it too, because like I have to get up and go to the gym in the morning, so I have to be here. Like if you did it tomorrow night, it would be a no.
Yeah.
So that could be it.
Yep.
And it's summer, like I said, it's summertime.
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot too.
More.
But the only thing I can say about because I've had people tell me, "Oh, don't worry about the attendance thing. It's a summer thing," and I'm like, well, except for Birdie pulls in 700 people on a YouTube night. I can barely get 50, so it's not. You can't say it's a summer thing if he's pulling in 700 people. Like it's there's something else. So, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's a different sect of people.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I can't change my content to be like that because that's not.
That's what I'm saying. They are the severe, and I love it, and I love Birdie, and I love the group, and I love interacting with him.
Yeah, me too.
But they are the severe rabbit hole tinfoil hat wearing, and I know he takes pride in that.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how much they actually get out. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to say that, but you know, I wonder how often they get out.
Yeah, I don't
him
know.
personally,
Yeah.
folks in the group, because sometimes I feel like they are very random and they are very sudden, and like I'm not gonna drop my day to get on a live. Like I work from home though, so like it's easy sometimes. But like people that go live in the middle of the day on a Saturday, I'm like, the hell, I'm living life right now. I can't, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about Birdie because Birdie's awesome. He's been super good to me. But I mean, I can understand at some point, like, if you're big enough on YouTube, it would be one of those things of like you have to decide if you want to make money or not, right? Because if in theory you can be in a situation where every time you go live you're making money. So then it becomes like, well, do I want to go out and do nothing or do I want to make some money today? So.
That's true. And honestly, I mean, I've had him be like, oh, I'm not going live tomorrow. We've got stuff to go do and live life. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
But like, I just wonder, or I wonder if it's like people like me that they just see that it's alive and they click live and they let it run.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And that's great for him. That's great for him because it serves stuff up. But yeah, I love the guy. I think I think him and I like have for some reason we have kind of a good connection and a good vibe together. So
y'all have a good rapport with each other, and I don't know really how to explain it. He had somebody on the other day that just annoyed the living crap out of me. I had to turn live off. I had to come back.
So
because there was just something about.
You watch him a lot, right? So
usually if I don't. Yeah.
Tell me about Phoenix, because I noticed that Phoenix is on. I mean, I don't watch him a lot, but I see that Phoenix is almost always on with him. So what's that relationship and what's that like?
She's like a co-host / moderator.
Yeah.
She does have her own Phoenix Talks that I've never really listened to. I followed her because she was one of the people on there. I've never really listened to her lives directly. She is. I mean, I don't know that she's necessarily even a co-host. I just know she's on with him a lot because she also is she's very animated. And she will go down those rabbit holes.
Yeah.
You know?
And she's got a good following too. So maybe the people who go down the rabbit holes, the really deep rabbit holes, maybe that's just a more sought after niche, you know?
Maybe, but then, you know, like I said, and I love them both. I love Birdie to pieces. And I wasn't sure at first when I first listened to him because a lot of it seemed a little weird and out there. And I was like, dude, you can't watch video footage from 3 miles away and zoom in and see a car. But then I paid attention to how they were doing it, and they were triangulating videos and doing all that cool tech stuff. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool, I believe you. Yeah. And some stuff I don't believe, some stuff I go, But it's the internet. You don't have to say, like you said, mean people. I don't have to chime in and go, I think you're wrong. I think you're pushing it. I think you're stretching.
Well, here's a perfect example.
Go on.
This is a perfect example. Like, I don't want to, again, I have nothing bad to say about Birdie, but this is a perfect example about a difference between his style and mine. Like, he will do the isolated videos, the isolated audio videos, right? And I said, when you tell somebody what you're going to hear is this, your brain will hear it. So he'll be like, you know, what you're going to hear is, you know, somebody's going to say Xana here, and then he'll play it, and he's like, did you hear it? You heard Xana? And I'm like, if you tell somebody what they're going to hear, they're more likely going to hear it. And so I don't want to disparage the guy at all, but this is the reason why I don't spend a lot of time deep diving on audio playbacks and isolated videos and isolated sounds, because your mind can play tricks with you that way. So I think his audience loves that, and I think it's great, but I won't go too far down that rabbit hole because I'm like, I can't tell you what I heard, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But you know what he does, and I've noticed, and I kind of wondered because I noticed he started doing this, or maybe he always did it and I didn't notice it. I wondered if you had a conversation with him about that, because one day I was listening to I was listening to something, and before he said anything, he said, I'm going to play the tape. I want to know what you guys hear, because I don't want to taint your opinions, and I want to truly know if you guys are hearing what I'm hearing, but I need you to listen first. Yeah. And the day he did that, I thought, oh, wow, I wonder if he talked to Lee.
I don't think so, but yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, but I was glad he did it, because I do believe if you play something over and over again, and then you're just like, hey, did you hear them say Maroon Honda? Right. You're going to hear Maroon Honda. or
Right.
white Elantra
Right.
or green Elantra. And that whole white green Elantra thing drove me up the wall.
Yeah. Well, one person did say
night vision. Huh?
one person did say one of the reasons they think that Birdie and I were good together is because I kind of provide a little bit of a realism
Grounding.
to his rabbit holes, because I'm willing to say I'm not sure I can hear that or not, and I'm going to be honest. Like some people are like, you provide a good kind of like counter to his going off on whatever theory he's gone, and I don't know, maybe that's why we're kind of good together, is because I'll kind of like, well, maybe not, but I'm not going to like jump down that rabbit hole and say, yep, that's what we just heard.
It's everybody's opinion too, and
Yeah.
it's like I said, if you don't like what somebody's saying on YouTube, or you think you've gotten to that moment where it's just gone a little off the deep end, just scroll to the next YouTube video. I guarantee you there's somebody else doing a live, because there was something one day they were going on and on about it, and I was just like, no, I can't get on. My brain that day couldn't do it, and I just moved on.
Yeah.
I come back. I always come back.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you
No,
know,
it's good
but
stuff.
yeah. But I wondered the day he said that. I was like, gosh, I wonder if he was talking to Lee, or maybe he just realized, or maybe somebody else said to him one day, are you tainting your audience? Are you leading them or whatever, if we were in a court of law? But
Yeah.
some of the stuff's pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
And some of it's super cool. Like I said, it's just... And like you guys always say, you're not a news outlet. It's for entertainment purposes only. Yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. It's fun stuff. I enjoy it.
Yeah. How long has
I
Michelle
hate
been in
to
the
say
room?
I
Is Michelle
enjoy
new to the
murder,
channel,
but,
by the way, right now? Michelle, have you been there the whole time, or are you new to jumping into Discord? Sure, she's muted right now.
She just got here.
She just got here. So
Welcome.
I'm not insane. We got a new Discorder here.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't know.
tell us about yourself. Where are you from? What are you drinking?
She's like, don't pressure me. I'm just hanging out. I'm here to be muted. Maybe she doesn't know how to unmute herself. You know what's sad is I could unmute her for her, but I don't want to do that to somebody.
Oh, it's Mifo.
Oh, is it?
Hey, girl.
How do you know?
Yay.
How do you know that?
She messaged me. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I just broke
Oh, you just yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know Mifo's first name was Michelle. Hey, Shell. Cool beans. Yeah. But
Yeah, Mifo's
there's a lot.
Mifo's been around since day one on my channel. It seems
Mhm.
like.
Yeah. That's a name that I definitely recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I can't believe that every time I talk now on TikTok, I get restricted.
That just means that somebody's watching you. There's somebody like specifically that probably has you set up as an alert and goes in and immediately reports.
I guess
Has to be
I'm
done.
thinking this last one is just because they didn't like that I basically ported over a video from some other place.
Oh yeah, that I'm honestly surprised. Did you get shut down for that, or you just got restrictions?
I got restrictions. Yeah. So what is Jeremy? What are you saying? I like the DA shirt. Are they for sale? It's at this point. This is actually an Everett Silvertips shirt. So I don't have a branded shirt. If you're talking about my brand, I don't have a branded shirt, and I don't think I have a big enough audience where anybody would buy merch of my brand. But speaking of that, I got a question for you on the behind the scenes stuff. Since we're doing that, so I want to go attend. This is a good question. I want to go attend at least day 1 or 2 of the Brian Koberger trial in Boise, because it's close enough by I can actually drive there. And there's a part of me that wants to, because it's going to be maybe a potential media circus on the day 1, to kind of go there representing my brand, so that people know that, if they wanted to like say something, they would know, oh, that's the guy that does this channel. But I don't want to also get shot by some family member. They're like, that's the motherfucker that says that my daughter, did this and this. So I don't know, like, should I go to that trial in anything that identifies myself, or just go as myself and kind of go incognito, and if they recognize me, they recognize me?
I would go early on, just check it out,
Yeah.
and then return later,
Yeah.
just to see how it goes.
See that
Because like
what
you
the
said,
vibe is, what the vibe is.
I have a feeling day 1 is going to be shit show.
Yeah.
Day 2's honestly probably the first week's going to be a shit show. But I mean, I would just to get the I'm real big on getting the feel of a group, like the experience of the situation. I would want to check it out and then see kind of where it goes. See if people are. I don't know what people like from up there in that part of the country are like. I don't know if they'll stand and talk to you. Like in Texas, you can literally go to the convenience store and have a full blown conversation with somebody you've been at the gas pump.
Well, I know that there's several YouTubers that are going to be there. I mean, I know Harsh Reality said that he was planning on coming from UK over to the US to attend there, and at least for the first day or whatever. So I kind of want to meet some of these guys that I follow, or even girls. Like, and here's the thing: like, I don't like London's Notebook, but I would love to meet her because I respect what she does, even if I don't agree with her concepts. Or Jay Embry, if he ever showed up at that thing, I'd want to meet these people in person. But I don't know if they would feel the same way about wanting to meet me. I presume if they have ever seen my content, they're like, "Fuck that guy." But but I would like to meet him.
Sure.
But
I think that people, if they're actually interested in the possibilities and the truths and the what ifs and what could happen, I bet they would.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're very so in the very beginning, Lee, I don't know if I ever told you this. In the very beginning when it happened, you were actually one of the first people I clicked that I followed.
Yeah. On the Luigi
Right?
case, or yeah.
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 On Luigi, because I didn't know anything about Kohberger. The only reason I even know about Kohberger is because you talked about it one time, and I was like, okay, cool, let's think about something.
Yeah.
And you said something about Luigi and pissed me off, and I unfollowed you.
Oh
And
no!
ended up coming. Oh yeah, I came back like weeks later.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said something, and I was like, "Fuck that guy." And I unfollowed you. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I've had. It's funny. I've had somebody do the same thing. They're like, they said this guy's an idiot, and then they would come back later and they would say on my comments, I misjudged you. Like I heard one comment from you and I made a rash judgment. And I've watched more of your videos and I realized you're not the asshole I thought you were. So I've had other people have that reaction too.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't that I was like, and I didn't say shit or do anything. I just hit as an adult should. I just hit the unfollow button and went about my day.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, not great.
I want to say,
I
think what ended up happening was I was following Brooks.
Yeah.
And he just went, bless his heart. He went off on that left tangent and everything. It was like everybody was attacking him and it was about him and he was attacking Karen and I got really upset about it.
Yeah. And
so I was just like, let's go back. Let me find somebody else to follow that I felt like I could trust on stuff. And for whatever reason, I felt like I could trust your angle on it. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I hope you still feel the same. I mean, you're here, so you must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to think before that, like I didn't follow Serena. I didn't follow Cynthia. I didn't follow Allie, obviously, because she's brand new. And I stopped following Character Analysis. And I'm sorry, she's your friend. I know you like her. But I had to stop following her after a rant on Kohberger and the Idaho 5 one day. I just was like, I'm done and I'm out. And I just left. So, but yeah, you were like the first person that I would listen to on stuff. So congratulations. I came back.
Thank you. I wished you could. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because I have to be me. But I wished I would have known what I said that made me lose you, and what I said that made you come back. Because I would be curious to know. Although, like I said, at the end of the day, I really am just being myself. So do I really want to know? But the curiosity wants to know what it was I said. But
what brought me back. What got me back, I think somebody told me to try again and that you probably didn't mean it the way I took it.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Natasha that told me that.
Gotcha. Well, that's great.
Because Natasha, because me and Natasha were in Brooks's room together. And I feel like we both were getting the same vibe off. We've never talked about it. I feel like we got the same vibe off of him around the same time.
Yeah.
And then they had the massive drama thing go down and I was out. And I was like, okay, well, she says go try it again. So, and I'm a bitch, Lee. I'm a bitch. And if you caught me on the wrong day and you said it the wrong way,
yeah.
And that was the day I was madly in love with Luigi and I was going to go have his babies.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell me nothing. You know, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
It could have been anything. That's just how I am, though. And, you know, I'm a big red flag.
You know what's funny is as a personal aside, one of the things that this is weird to explain, but some of the some of the biggest personal pride I feel is the person who shits on me and then changes their opinion and says, you know what, I was wrong, I shouldn't have shit on you, you're actually a good guy. Because there's something about, I love watching people be able to humble them and say, you know what, I was rash, I apologize. And I feel way kindred. I had that happen to me recently where somebody was like, you're a fucking ass. And I'm like, you know, you didn't need to talk to me that way. And they're like, you know what, I kind of read you wrong, I'm really sorry. And I love that when people can humble themselves and apologize, and then you can be like, I don't know, there's just something about that. People being able to say, didn't like you for a while, but I decided to think about it, and I realized maybe I was being rash, and there's just something cool about that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, and I will be the first one to say, like, it, you know, you're cool, I love you to death, or I wouldn't be here now. But there is somebody that there is a person that I'm not even going to get into that.
Oh, I'm curious now.
I won't interact with them. I said
I'm curious now.
Well, somebody, I'll text it to you.
Okay.
That when this specific individual is in the chat or in the After Dark or whatever, I will not engage.
In my chat?
I will not engage. Yeah. Yes, because I do not like that person said something to me that was completely just did not need to be said.
Male or female?
Truly upset me. Male. Truly upset me.
Yeah.
And you probably know.
Well, yeah, I don't have a lot of male. I don't have a lot of males in my group, and I'm wondering if it's my business partner. Yeah.
Really upset me to the point where I literally signed off that night after the comment.
Yeah. I would love to. I would love to know. I mean, it's up to you if you want to share. I would love to know, just because, especially if it's my business partner, because I want to know. But so yeah, if you want to share here, do it. If not, send it privately, and I'll talk to you about it some other time. But I would love you to just go ahead and tell me. But it's up to you.
I just sent it to you in text message.
Okay.
I don't want to cause shit. I don't know if they're here or not.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're. If it's who I think it is, they're not here. But let me see.
Because I remember it happened to the point where it happened, and I stopped and I messaged Natasha, and I was like, "Are you in Discord right now?" And she goes, "No, what's going on?" And I told her, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And she logged in.
Oh yeah.
And she sat there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, the person you talked about is not my business partner, so that's a good thing.
That's good to know.
Is that as far as that goes?
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to. I mean, everybody can say what they want, but I also can not say anything, and not that it matters what I say. Nobody cares.
No, it's good.
Show. We haven't know it. Yeah. But it's like, some things just don't. We all know what the potential consequences are.
Yeah.
We don't need someone to revel in them or make fun of them or celebrate them. That's like something my narcissistic, toxic mother would do.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like...
And the only bad part about... So, without naming names, the only bad part about that is that person that you're talking about is like a major supporter of me, right? So I mean... I get it. Your guys' interpersonal relationships have nothing to do with me, but yeah, it sucks when you're like you've got two people that are really good supporters of you, and then they don't like each other.
I mean, I'll never say anything specific to that person.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I'll never interact with that person.
It's all good. Like I said, that what happens between you guys is not my business anyway. So it's all good.
Yeah, and like it's just one of those things where it's like I'll never, I mean, it's fine. Everybody can have their own opinion, but to walk into a room of people and say that, knowing that 90% of the people in that room, that is a heartbreaking last situation we possibly want, I'm like, that's kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
Opinion.
Yes. Right. Yeah, I get it.
Changing subject.
Yeah. Yeah, feel free. I mean, if somebody in YouTube can change the subject, and anybody can change the subject. If you guys need to, I'm just enjoying chit chatting and getting to know you guys as people.
What's going on the YouTube side? What are people typing? Are they just listening?
No, Jeremy Pearson's very active in the chat, and he's really the only person that's really chatting on the chat for the last. But we have 11 people in there that are just kind of hanging out and listening. But Jeremy's been texting back and forth with me. So, but I'm just. Yeah, we're just.
You have another name on TikTok? Who's Jeremy?
I'm not sure.
Who are you?
Jeremy, are you on TikTok? And if so, what's your handle on TikTok? I'm seeing what he says, but
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice and cool in here.
yeah.
Can you lift the curtain so I can bring the babies in?
Oh,
I told Kimberly I was going to bring the babies in.
my wife wants to bring kitties onto the thing, so I'm going to get to a YouTube question here in a second from Cloud. Hold on a second. Let me show the babies. Or how are we doing this? Do you see the babies?
Somebody
told
that
me
on
to
YouTube, but I can't get on YouTube.
What's that?
Let me try it again. I can't get onto YouTube.
Oh, this is on my backstage account. Oh! He's gonna shred me. Holy crap!
Well, you dropped him.
No, I dropped him when he started shredding me.
Oh.
It's an order of
He
events.
doesn't like to be on camera, I guess.
No, he does not like to be on camera.
They're so sweet, though.
All right, so what do we got here? Yeah, so never been on TikTok, Jeremy
Can you
says.
help me
Huh, what?
Help me out.
Oh, help you out. Okay.
You made this a maze to get out of here now.
Well, yeah, this is my studio. I'd love to have the whole room for a studio, Rhonda.
Bite me.
I know.
Look at the video, Lee.
What
Of
video?
the kid. The boy. Oh, wait, you wanted to do it after you can analyze it.
Oh,
Never mind.
I could, yeah, exactly. Let's see. I got a question here on YouTube. Cloud says, definitely promote yourself, by the way. Keep putting yourself out there online. Hate almost never leaves the internet. It's just sad people hiding behind keyboards and projecting. Yeah. By the way, I had to take someone you mentioned on TikTok about why he avoided capture if he wanted to be caught from the start. Yeah, I am growing a thick skin. I'm having to learn to grow a thick skin fast. So
Yeah.
it was the first couple days I started to get beat up. I took it pretty hard, and I told Rhonda that I was really kind of feeling depressed and whatever. But then I realized that was because I had a video blow up on TikTok, right? So I had a video that my normal video was at the time was getting like 3,000 views at best, usually more like 1,500 at best. That was a good video, and that one got like 27,000 videos, and with it came all kinds of hatred. And to be fair, here's the thing. It's good for me that people were shitting on me. That's what made that video go 27,000. Is when people start fighting and being shitty and they're back and forthing each other, whatever. That's viral, right? That's virality. So in a way, I had to adjust my mindset and go, quit complaining that so many people are attacking you, because it's because so many people are attacking you that the video is doing so well. And I got a crap ton of new viewers and subscribers. So what I had to realize at the end of the day was I actually gained more from that video and people shitting on me than I lost. Like, I didn't lose any followers. I got some hatred, but I actually gained more people than and I was like, at the end of the day, why am I mad that they're shitting on me? Because them shitting on me has just grown the channel. So I don't know.
Yeah. Every comment, like that's how it grows. So I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but
yeah,
back to that thing about why would Luigi want to be caught?
Yeah.
And I know that you said that Jeremy was commenting on that, which is fine. It doesn't make sense to me why because I'm the one I commented something similar to that during the live. Someone commented something and I was like, yeah. And me and somebody almost put their comments in at the exact same time. Where it was almost like he was trying to get caught.
Yeah.
And I get it, Jeremy. Why would somebody want to get caught? That is a huge, wonderful question that I would love the answer to. And maybe one day he'll write us a book, or we'll go out and have a beer and he'll tell me.
Well, have you heard me talk about how to blow up a pipeline?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it like 6 times. I know that movie. Yeah.
So to me that is the answer about why, in the hypothetical why Luigi would want to get caught is if it was a how to blow up a pipeline scenario, then a group of individuals agreed that one of them would take the fall for it, and that would be the answer to it. If in the hypothetical situation that movie answers why somebody would take the fall for it.
And that's why in my comment I said, when someone was like, why would someone do that? We were going back and forth. And I said, I have actually wondered if there is something wrong with him, if he is sick. Because in the movie, remember, it was the woman who had the terminal cancer. Remember, Lee?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a part of it. And took the blame because they knew they wouldn't do anything to her. Or she wasn't worried about what they do to her.
Right. She was going to die anyways, right?
Yeah. In my comment, I said, I've often wondered if there's something wrong with him, if there's something we don't know.
Right.
And this other person in the chat's like, no, he's mentally competent. They've already evaluated it. And I
Yeah.
said, no, like there's something physically that he is ill and he just doesn't care. And he's willing to like, I'll sit in prison. I don't care. And that's what I mean. And I still kind of wonder that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that's not the case, but
Right.
I've
You know what
wondered
I'm
the same thing. Yes.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for validating it. It's always nice.
Yeah, I mean that would make
You're
sense.
back
That would
there.
make sense if he knew he wasn't going to have a full life anyways. And one can argue that was one of the things he was saying in the early days of the spondy injury, right? Which is that I'm never going to have a normal life. I'm going to have to deal with these. Now I think the surgery was successful, so maybe that answered that question. But if there's something like that, something in which he feels like I'm never going to have a full life anyways, then maybe he would have been.
What if he has something else?
Right, or
Like,
like a
that we don't know about.
terminal illness or something.
Sickle cell or
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, that breaks my heart. Poor baby.
Yeah.
That he feels he can't go on and he has that much money and I'm living over here broke as a joke going day to day with a smile and a Coke. But I mean, it just I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like you said.
Cloud on YouTube says it might have been about giving the act the most weight before the system could hijack the meaning. If he'd been caught right away, the story would have been instantly turned into, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But by disappearing for about a week, the focus stayed, at least briefly, on what happened. Oh, they're writing more now, too.
I think I still maintain my possible theory that that the DNA is planted, meaning whoever the shooter was wanted to be caught holding a gun with bare hands and leaving behind fingerprints on cell phones and the gun and chewing gum with DNA on it, because maybe they've got a plan to have an ace up their sleeve to be like, by the way, you're going to put all your effort into convicting the person whose fingerprints on it, and that's not even the shooter. Yeah. And so I keep waiting for that to come out. That it seemed. I've said it a million times. Him putting the water bottle or whatever on top of a pile of trash right in front of a camera, to me, seemed deliberate. He wanted to be seen putting that, hey everybody, here's my DNA, you can come get it off this bottle. And I thought that was a deliberate act. Now other people say he probably didn't know the camera's there. I kind of claim horseshit. I think they knew exactly, and I think it's the same reason why he went into Central Park, because he knew where the cameras weren't going to be, and that's why they switched bikes or whatever and switched that. So I think whoever did this was more than one person, and they knew what they were doing. They knew when they were on camera and they knew when they weren't on camera, and they're setting up the feds and law enforcement because they know they're going to chase the easy lead, and the easy lead's not going to be the answer to this case. So that's my theory.
I agree. I mean, I'm so torn between sweet, innocent, adorable Luigi and this evil fucking genius who knows exactly what he's doing and he's toying with us at every turn.
Yeah.
Like I'm so torn. Either way, I love him.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like I mean, as smart as he is, and because I do believe in the multiplayer how to blow up a pipeline theory, I believe that everything that they did was intentional.
Yeah.
I really did. Remember, I mean, I know it was a movie, but remember how they sat around and they sat around a movie and they talked about all the different things they were going to do and why and when and the timing and the run-throughs.
Yeah.
I don't know. That blew my mind that movie blew my mind, Lee, when I sat down and watched it.
Good.
And the reason I watched it as many times as I did is because I was trying not to catch anything, and I realized that the third time that I watched it, there was a whole section that I just blew my mind, and I was like, I don't know what I was doing. I must have really been deep into folding the laundry because I missed that whole conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
yeah, the conversation I thought was really I'm trying to remember the wording. I only watched it once, but the wording was something to the effect of if they call us terrorists, then we must be doing something right. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yep.
they wanted to make a statement, and it's interesting because, again, my theory has been, and I want to make clear on this. So my theory has been the real shooter may still be out there. Like, again, if I'm not convinced Luigi Mangione was the shooter. I am kind of leaning towards he was involved, but I'm not convinced he was the shooter. Although there's a part of me that believes that he could have actually been the shooter and he could have done it alone. But if it was a group of people, that means the shooter is still out there. If the shooter is still out there, I think this could happen again. And then the question, and again, to be clear, if the shooter's still out there and if the shooter does it again, it doesn't mean Luigi walks because they're like, see, the shooter's, it's not Luigi because the shooter's, because they'll just say it was a copycat. So I don't know how to deal with that. But
Or that.
I still wonder if the shooter is still out there. But
Shooter's out of the country.
right.
Out of the country. Like when it happened and they showed it, and my first thought was that was a mob hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on this mad dash to find him. I was like, they're not going to find him. He's gone. He's out of the country.
Yeah.
He's out. He had a car waiting. He's gone. Like, he didn't leave out of New York either. He didn't leave out of the port of New York. He went down to Florida or South Carolina or something.
Yeah.
Back roads, and he's gone.
And
So then
think
we
about
can
it.
find him.
You probably have thought about this, but think about this. If all hands on deck were on Luigi Mangione and tracking him and getting him arrested in Altoona, they're not looking for the real shooter, which makes it a lot easier for him to get out of the country. So I mean,
Yeah.
again, if people conspired, they put all their efforts in looking in the wrong guy, so that it would be a lot easier for that guy to get out of the country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, then you
And
have to ask them, what's Luigi's long game? Again, the answer could be, if that scenario is all carried out, the answer could be Luigi has a terminal illness and he figures his life forfeit anyway, so he's willing to take the risk. Or is there even
baby.
or are they really taking a gamble that somehow they're going to be able to prove in court that Luigi couldn't have been the person, and he's going to walk eventually because they have an ace up their sleeve where they can have an irrefutable alibi that Luigi's going to come up with. But even so, the problem with that is that if Luigi was an accomplice and they can prove he's an accomplice, most states treat accomplice to murder the same as murder. So.
But they can, well, if they can treat it the exact same way, even as an accomplice, what if they go, we're not going to indict?
Yeah. Right.
Or not indict, but jury nullification is what I meant to say. Sorry,
Sure.
It's the wine.
Yeah.
The jury nullification would still work, hopefully,
Yeah.
because, I don't know, that poor baby.
It's going to be a crazy story, and I expect that this is going to get a lot crazier once we get going to trial.
Have you heard about the thing about somebody, and I can't remember where it was, and I can't even remember where I heard it, that they were going back to the court? It could have even have been Karen, said that they were going back to the court, but I don't think it was Karen, but it could have been. They were going back to the court saying that the people have a right to see the trial to make sure everything is on the up and up and it needs to be televised.
Yeah.
I mean, same with Kohberger.
Yeah.
But did you see that, or did you say that?
Well, so
Too much.
I'm not sure if you're getting it from. So I talked about it at length. So Karen Agnifilo did state in her letter that she would that her client Luigi basically has given permission, as far as he's concerned, that he would like to have the thing televised. And that's part of the thing that the prosecution took issue with, is they like, well, you're claiming that we're violating your client's privacy by broadcasting documentaries, and yet you're saying that you want a televised court system. And I did comment. I said, well, duh. Like, at the point that you've arrested him, then yeah, we want a transparent court system where everybody can see what happened. So anyway, so yes, I did talk about. Karen said
Part
we
three,
would like
right?
to have
Part
it
three?
on camera, but
That was part 3 of the video, right? So,
Yeah.
Okay, I watched that today.
Yeah.
That's where I got that then. Because
Yeah.
I listened to it while I was working, because I was,
Well, by the way, thank you so much for, even if you don't pay attention to it, thank you so much for watching the videos all the way through, because obviously it helps the algorithm that people stick with the video and watch it all the way through. So.
I always pay attention. I mean, I'm not looking at my screen, is what I mean.
Yeah,
Like-
no.
the boss beside me, because we have realized my boss made this comment. He goes, Kim, we have a problem when you look at the TV. And I'm like, you can tell? And he goes, yeah, when you come in and tell me you watched 4 seasons of The Handmaid's Tale yesterday, I can tell. And I was like, oh. So, like, as long as I'm not looking, believe it or not, if I stream on the phone, I'm fine. It's when it's on the TV it causes problems. But no, I'm listening to everything.
Yeah.
Like, you can
Well, I
ask
was
the boss,
surprised.
I'll stop and text it.
I was surprised when I did that 3-part video series. I was 2 hours into it. I thought no one's gonna fucking listen to me talk for 3 hours about this document. They'll be like, learn to summarize. Like in my head, I was hearing everybody bitch at me. Could you please learn to summarize? And yet, I will say, the majority of comments that I got from people were, I love how you break documents down, and I love the
Everything down.
long form content. And I'm like, wow. Like I thought people would be like, dude, freaking learn to summarize.
No, I actually enjoy it, and like sometimes, you know, when it kind of goes off like on a tangent about something specific, you know, I just, you know, just change the cat's water bowl, walk out of the room for the minute, and you go back. So I mean, there's nothing great. Like it's nothing that like you can't. I want your opinions on it. I want to know how you feel about it and break it down so I can think about it.
Yeah.
So go on your little side tangents and break it down. I felt bad though, because you kept saying, I'm only on page whatever of 80. And I was like, oh, this man's going to be here for like days doing this.
Right.
So, like,
And
I found parts 1 and 2. I watched them, I think, pretty quickly after you put them up.
Yeah.
Because I watched part 1 and I watched part 2 almost back to back.
Yeah.
And then I went back and I looked for part 3 and I couldn't find it. And then
Yeah.
I found it like an hour later. So I don't know if you went in and re-edited it. I don't know if you were finishing it up.
Well,
But I
no.
feel
What
like you
happened?
watched them pretty early on.
I think what happened was I recorded parts 1 and 2 late at night, like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I queued them up to publish at 7 and 8 o'clock the next day. But I made them available for
Yep.
members right away. And then I went to bed and I went up and finished part 3 later that morning, and it got published later. So that's probably why you got 2 videos back to back and couldn't find 3, because I literally did 2 videos, scheduled them to be posted, and then went to bed and did the last video later.
When did you post the first 2? This morning?
Was it just this morning? I'm losing track of time. It might have been. I think I recorded them 2 days ago, right? And then I posted them this morning at 7 and 8 in the morning. Maybe.
Well, yeah, because so 7 for you is 9 for me, and that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Because Good Morning America would have been over, and it would have been time for me to queue up YouTube. So there you go.
Jeremy has a question about the Idaho 4 case I wanted to bring into the discussion, which is,
Yay.
have I asked this before? Why isn't there any body cam footage of the Idaho officers arriving and entering the house? Any other case that would have been released ASAP? You could clear so much up, even if it was blurred. And that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, again, I mean, you're right. There's no way they're going to show images of it, and they could have blurred it. But I don't know. Not every police department in America has body-worn cameras. Most of them do. So I don't know if Idaho has them. I'd have to look into that kind of stuff, because you ask an interesting question. If I had a million hours on my hands to research everything, I might look into, at that time of 2 years ago, was body-worn cameras something that every officer had, and therefore we know it was turned on, and therefore why do we not see anything of it? I would ask those questions, but man, I got so many things to research. I don't know if I'm gonna. So if you or anybody wants to take up that thing, I'd love to know.
I have something to say about that. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard. This is what I've heard. Okay, like to me, I live in Dallas. I live in a big metropolitan city, right? Millions of people. I hear Moscow, Idaho, and I think little tiny town, nothing to do. Now I'm finding out from basically Birdie that this is a major drug hub and trafficking hub, and that they have a huge drug problem, and that the college kids are being college kids, so they're partying and they're high and they're drunk all the time, pulling all kinds of wild ass shit.
Well, let me tell you
they wear body cam footage.
let me tell you my perspective on that. First of all, in 1995, I went to WSU Pullman, so I went to school there. I traveled over to Moscow all the time to party, to hang out, so I know the area well. Right now, I live within about 2.5 hours of Moscow, Idaho, and I've been there recently in that area. So what I can tell you is, they are podunk, middle of nowhere places. It's not a big population. The entire population is essentially the campuses. And yes. When I was going to school there, Pullman, Washington had the reputation of having the most beer cans per capita of any city in Washington state. So that was the statistic that they had. So drinking is a huge thing on the college campuses. I don't remember drugs being a thing there, but then again, I wasn't into drugs, so maybe I just wasn't running in the right circles. But I don't have doubt that drugs are rampant on college campuses in general, no matter where you are. And drinking is certainly a big bit.
If you're a cop in a college town,
yeah,
and there's going to be drunk girls everywhere, and you're a male cop, you definitely want body cam footage to save your ass from a Me Too sexual assault claim.
Yeah.
So I don't believe for a minute that they didn't have body cam footage, or they chose to turn it off. Because Birdie even said on a live that apparently that police department, I don't know if this happened before or after, but I thought they said it happened before. The drugs and everything was so bad that they got some grant from the government to upgrade all their shit and have the highest levels of everything, which means they should have been wearing body cam.
Yeah, I agree. Well, they did get a lot of money from this particular event, so they should have them now. Now, whether they had it then is another thing. But did you see? I did a review of. I've been reviewing Howard Bloom's book, When the Night Comes Falling, and one of the chapters that I recently reviewed. I don't know if you saw this. They mentioned there was a police officer. Was it a police officer? It was an officer. It could have been a different type of officer, but it was an officer that they talk about had to what you just said about females, who had basically solicited a college drunk co-ed, and said, "Hey, look, I won't write you a ticket for drinking if you have sex with me."
Yeah.
Right? And so he had gotten fired for that. But so you're right. Like, why wouldn't body-worn cameras be a thing when you're dealing with a bunch of drunk females and you have officers that might abuse their authority and their position to elicit or solicit sexual favors from drunk females? Yeah, you should have a body-worn camera on all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not blaming. I'm not saying it's men that's the issue, but I'm just saying in general for the safety of everything, with just the shootings in general, you better turn your camera on.
Yeah,
we have shootings in Dallas all the time. Not cop shootings. We have shootings in Dallas a lot, more so Fort Worth. And one of the first things that you'll hear anybody say is, "Let's look at the cam footage."
Yeah.
And if you don't have the cam footage here, you're up shit creek, not just with the media, but usually with the department.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it should be standard issue. In fact, isn't one of the, wait a minute now, isn't there's lots of footage, right, of the police officers coming for the noise complaint, and they're all wearing body-worn cameras. So
that's true.
So we know they have body-worn cameras.
Yeah, and remember when they stopped Kohberger in the car and they were asking all the questions?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? It's something.
So again, whether or not all cops had it, but I mean, like Payne, he would have had it, right? He was. I mean, they would have had it. They would have had body-worn cameras.
I could see where a detective wouldn't for privacy reasons, but just like the cop that was initially in the scene, you would think for the preservation of evidence, chain of custody, nobody broke the law, you're gonna flip that camera on. Right? That's what I think.
And to break this down a little bit further, there's so many things that don't make sense. I guess maybe I'm impaired or something, but like for example, when the officers show up at the scene, it seems pretty clear they did not separate the college students to make sure that they were separated right away, and then question them to make sure that their stories were the same. That's standard procedure. When you come up on a scene like that, you immediately say, "Hey, can you come over here and talk to me?" And you separate them from everybody else, and you ask them what's going on, and then later those two cops will confer with each other. Well, this person says this, and this person says this. That's part of identifying what happened at the scene. And it appears that did not happen. They let all those kids hang out in a group, not separating them. So that's reeks of either complete incompetence or something else is going on, because I don't understand how they weren't separated and asked to give their statements separate from each other. And maybe it did happen and we just didn't get told, but it doesn't seem like that happened.
And if it was complete incompetence, there goes the case, and
Right.
Ooh, you're fucked. And like I've said, yeah, well, maybe he did do it. I don't think Kohberger did it, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think he did it alone. But you know what? Whether you did it or not, they fucked the case up.
Right.
And now we can't prosecute it.
Right.
That is a huge bug on my wall.
Right.
Oh.
And the difficulty is, right, the difficulty is these two cases are so very different. So if you had a situation in which Luigi Mangione really was guilty and they fucked up the investigation, most people in America would be okay with that, I think, in my opinion. If Brian Kohberger was guilty and they fucked up the investigation, most people are not going to be okay with it, because it's a completely different type of animal, right? Because one is doing a noble deed, trying to help people, and the other guy is just like, I want to see if I can get away with killing 4 people. So there's a completely different sympathy level. At the end of the day, of course, from my devil's advocate's perspective, I want law enforcement to obey the rule and do it the right way. And if you had to plant evidence on Kohberger to get him, even if he's the guy, then you guys fucked up. You shouldn't have done that. But
Yeah.
Not to
Agreed.
say that I don't have sympathy for the victims, and I do, but
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm about to mute myself because a bug just got into my house and I took the trash out, and I don't know what it is, and y'all really, really don't need to hear me screaming because it's about to get real fucking ugly. I'm gonna mute myself. I'll be back.
all right.
Okay.
Jeremy says if there was simple body cam of them showing up, we would know who was there for the 911 if it made them it made in the morning, or if it was yes, Jeremy. Body worn footage would also show us whether or not the officers separated the individuals to take their statements. All of that stuff, huge. And again, I mean, I never personally doubted that the phone call happened when they said it happened, but I know a lot of YouTubers are starting to get on this whole, how do we know that phone call really even happened when they said it happened? And so, yes, that would help us timestamp it as well. We would know for sure a little, or get a better idea when it happened. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that stinks in this case, a whole bunch of stuff. And maybe it'll come out in trial, to be fair. There is a massive gag order, so maybe it comes out in trial. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could be resolved if we could see the case. And maybe at the end of the day, that's exactly why we're not seeing it. Because if we see it, we'd be like, well, how do you explain that shit? Like, how do you explain not separating the students? Why are you not doing that? So maybe they don't want to be ridiculed, so they're not releasing, because they know that we'll all fucking lose our shit and go, the people who are critical thinkers, like myself, would be like, I fucking want some answers. Like, why the fuck didn't you separate those people? So great questions.
I agree with you completely. I'm listening to everything you're saying. This
Yeah.
bug's about to die, and I'm losing it, and it's a problem.
Well, that's okay.
What is that?
I probably only have about 15 minutes more in me, because I've noticed that I've slurred more than one word, and so if I keep going at this rate, then we're gonna have a problem on YouTube. So I got to get off before I say something stupid.
I don't want you to get in any trouble. Oh, good, it's gonna die in the light fixture. That's what we want. Have you seen? You know what a daddy long legs is, right?
Oh gosh,
Those things that fly around.
Oh no, I know the daddy long legs. I thought you were saying silverfish. Those things are the nastiest bugs ever.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds horrifying.
They're horrible.
So outside, I've got where normally we would have daddy long legs eating the mosquitoes in Texas.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a half daddy long legs, half fucking wasp.
Oh, wow.
That's what got in my house when I
Wow.
opened the door
Yeah.
to take out the trash. And then I didn't even know it was in here. My cat was staring at the wall and his eyes were huge. Now he's dying. Thank God for that.
It is all good in the hood.
Yeah. So Allie, let's talk about Allie for a minute. 'Cause you know I love Allie.
Yeah.
Allie should date Luigi when he gets out. I'm just saying. The beautiful babies that we would have.
Except for she's married and
my
has
God.
2 kids, so that would probably be a little bit of a trouble.
20. Oh my God. Well, then that's a problem. Never mind.
Yeah, no,
Find
she's
somebody else.
married and she has 2 daughters, I believe. So that would probably not go so well.
Oh, I'm
But yeah,
out
she's
here playing matchmaker for Luigi. I used to say Karen's daughter, and they were like, she's married. I was like, well, boy, I bet she's kicking herself right about now.
Yeah, she's a very beautiful woman, isn't she?
Yeah, they all are. They're gorgeous. They're just beautiful. But yeah, it's dead.
It's dead now? That was quick.
Seems to be. Well, no, I pointed raid. It was I have 15, 20-foot ceilings over on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
And that sucker was all the way up. And I had to like spray, you know how the wasp spray like goes far, far away?
Yeah.
Now it's all over my floor. Now I gotta wash my floors tomorrow.
Wow. All right, so let's like I said, because I only have about 15 minutes or so left in me, is there any last minute questions anybody wants to, or any topics you want to cover for the last 15 minutes or so? I think it's probably a good idea to put a cap of 2 hours on these After Dark shows anyways, just so it doesn't get crazy.
No, I'm good.
What? I have a question.
Yeah.
Hey, Lee. Hey, ladies. Anybody notice lately who we have not heard from in regards to the Idaho 4?
No. Who?
Mr. Steve Gonsalves. He's been quite quiet.
He goes through periods. Okay. He goes through periods of being quiet. So I guess I didn't notice it just because it seems like he goes through periods. Last time he was on Drunk Turkey Show was only like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I don't know.
And we haven't heard from him since.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's odd.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of Steve Gonsalves. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to make of that guy. I tell you this. I'll tell you this. Between you and me, I would give my freaking left testicle to be able to have a sit down and talk with Steve and a beer and see if we can just freaking talk about it. But of course that'll never happen. But I would love to be able to look the guy in the eye and talk to him. And I would be polite to the guy and I'd be like, look, I totally get it. Like. But I would freaking tear off my right arm to get a chance to talk to the guy and have a face to face. But I won't go hunt him down or nothing.
So do you think Steve's been gagged? Do you think he got a gag order finally?
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. So here's a good question. Like, I don't know if you paid attention or if I talked about it. I can't remember if I talked about it. But the Gonsalves family website was taken off of Facebook right after the Dateline NBC episode came out. And they tried to pass it off as the family website had been hacked. But I think it had to do with Hitler saying, I want to know who's leaking information and I want it shut down right now. And then the day after, I think it was, that Hitler said, I want someone's ass for leaking the stuff to the press. And I said, I think whoever's leaking to the press is the same person who's leaking to Steve Gonsalves. There's somebody on the inside who's got a big fucking mouth and is running off and telling Steve Gonsalves that this is what we got, and they're going now to Dateline and saying this is what we got. And then right after Hitler said, I want this investigated and I want to know who did it and I want to know now, all of a sudden the Gonsalves' Facebook page was shut down due to violations of community services. I don't think those things are unrelated. So maybe to that question, Steve Gonsalves has been shut down a little bit, because I think even that happened after the Drunk Turkey Show, and I don't think we've heard anything from Steve since. So he may have been silenced somehow. I don't know.
It makes sense.
It would have to be, because you're right. We haven't heard Steve. I got so aggravated with Steve. I got to the point where if I saw Steve's face, I would just keep scrolling. I didn't even. Yeah. Because I'm so tired of hearing him run his mouth. But yeah, that's a very good point. We haven't heard from Steve. Like.
If I try to put myself in that position, being a mom of 3 grown boys, if something were to happen to one of them, oh my gosh, I don't know that I could be as together as he holds it. Yeah. But also, I would be demanding, you tell me everything. I want to be inside the investigation. Well, and then, I may leak some stuff, but I think I'd probably be pretty tight-lipped myself. I'd be like, no, I need to know this. I don't want anything botching this.
To be fair, let me do a rant. Devil's advocate rant. To be fair, Steve Gonsalves, according to...
I haven't heard an F-bomb.
That's true, and this is After Dark. I should fucking say something. Anyways, so to be fair, Steve Gonsalves, according to Howard Bloom's book, Steve Gonzalez did exactly what you're saying. Is he said, I'm not going to just sit back and let the law enforcement tell me what happened. I want to know, and I'm going to go on every single TV show and every podcast I can. Essentially, I'm kind of overstating it, but that's what the book portrays. That Steve Gonzalez decided he wasn't going to just be passive and let the law enforcement do this. He hired a private attorney. He went talking to everybody. He asked people to name names. He didn't believe law enforcement had done their due diligence in the early days. He said that they too quickly ruled people out. The book depicts that Steve Gonzalez maybe even questioned Jack DeCour about his involvement in this situation. So to be fair, I think one could make the argument that the reason why Steve is running his mouth is because he doesn't want to just sit back and passively wait for them to tell him. Now, the counter to this is he's shooting his own thing in the foot, because he's jeopardizing his case or his getting justice because he's running his mouth too much. So, but I think that there's an argument to be made that Steve is just simply to be the best I can say for him, he's simply a father who wants to fucking get justice for his daughter, and he doesn't give a shit. He's going to say whatever he wants to say because as he said, I earned that right. I earned the right to talk about this case, and so I'm not going to sit and be silenced. If my daughter died, I'm not going to be silenced. I can understand at a human level why he might take that attitude.
I can too, but at the expense of destroying the case because now you've run your mouth and now we can't prove it. Right. That's my whole thing, and I get it. I run off at the mouth quick at people.
Right.
So I get it. But at some point when it's your child, I have a 20-year-old, you're my child, and the police say to me, we're working on it, shut the fuck up. I understand it's been a long time. I understand it's been 2 years. I'd be pissed too. But I don't think I would start running my mouth to the media.
Right.
Because...
Same here.
Yeah.
Well, and Jeremy asked a question, and I want to be careful because I don't want to overstate this. But the good news is nobody's fucking listening. See, there's the F-bomb for you. Nobody's really listening to this anyways. But Jeremy asked the question about, I'm surprised he isn't Steve Gonzalez more open to finding all of the killers because he's so stuck on Brian being the only one. And I think part of the answer in my mind could be, what if one of the killers is already dead? So there's nobody to bring to justice there. So there's only one left to go after. So that's one theory. And you probably know who I'm talking about. So if one of the killers is already dead, then that explains why Steve Gonzalez isn't focused on all the killers, because one of them, you can't go after him. And similarly, what if one of the other killers, if there's more than one, can't be gone after? So again, you focus on what you can do. So maybe Steve Gonzalez knows that there's more people involved, but the only person you can go after is the one. So make sure at least one goes down for it. I don't know. Could be a lot of things.
But didn't they say in the very beginning, and I don't know because I didn't follow it in the very beginning, Lee, didn't they say in the very beginning, I thought that Steve was saying he didn't even think it was Kohberger? Or was I misunderstanding that whole thing? Because I thought I heard, because I went back and listened to somebody's old recorded live one time.
Well,
and I could have sworn at one point they were saying Steve was like, no, it wasn't Kohberger.
Here's what I think. I will try to sum it the best that I can. We didn't know about Kohberger's name for almost a month after the killings. So Steve, in the early stages, believed that the law enforcement had too quickly ruled out some people. I think, he didn't say names, but I think Jack Showalter, Jack DeCour were some of the names that he thinks that law enforcement too early ruled out. At some point, when it became clear that Brian Kohberger was going to be arrested or had been arrested, the Gonzalez's immediately went out to Instagram and started doing research and found an Instagram account linked to Kohberger, and he started to think that Kohberger was the guy. Then later, and this is all from I'm just going off memory, so hopefully I'm not getting these right. Later, Steve started to indicate that he's not 100% convinced that Kohberger is the guy, that there's still maybe somebody else that did it. And then, even later than then, at some point he flipped a switch and said, absolutely convinced Kohberger is the guy, I have no question in my mind. So there was waffling periods in Steve's thing where before Kohberger was identified, he obviously didn't think it was Kohberger, he thought other people were. When Kohberger was identified, he kind of thought maybe that's the guy, but he still kept an open mind and said, I'm not 100% convinced this is the guy, or that he did it alone, or something like that. And then at some point, something happened and Steve went all in on Kohberger, and this is the guy, I have no doubt in my mind.
Because somebody told him to, possibly.
That's what I'm thinking. A law enforcement insider probably told him, look, this is what we've got on the guy. And he believed it and said, wait till you guys see the trial, because I know, because what he's saying between the lines is, I know things you don't know. I've been told by a trusted source on the inside that they know for a fact it's Bryan Kohberger, and now I feel it too. So wait till you see the trial, because it's going to come out and you're going to all know, because he trusts whoever's telling him on the inside, we've got this guy dead to rights, and there's no question, and he's trusting that person. That's what I think.
Yeah. But I just don't understand, as a parent, if you knew that wasn't the person, why? I mean, like you said, unless the actual person is, dead.
Right.
Which I guess is possible. I still don't know that I 100% understand the connection between that person. And I probably need to find you. If you have a specific video where you can explain to me what the actual connection is.
I would recommend, if you're willing to look at it, I would recommend a video I made that is part of a series I was making called The Devil's Briefcase. It was like a podcast idea I was coming up with. And there's an episode I call The Horror Movie Theory. It has a lot of connections between the two individuals in that video.
Yeah, and I've seen, because I've watched that one, because that's the one where I was like, yeah, it sounds like Scream.
Yeah.
Everything but the mask.
But it talks about them both coming from Pennsylvania. It talks about their families coming from Pennsylvania. It talks about the families now both living in Idaho. It talks about both of them somehow conveniently being maybe in the same city in Pennsylvania and now in the same city in Pullman. Mm-hmm. So all that stuff's laid out. And if you already watched it, then maybe you've already seen it. But that's one of the. And I've got other ones I think too.
I think that was one of the first ones I watched when I was trying to find out more about it.
And a YouTuber by the name of Crime Circus also has done a lot of connections between Kohberger and Brett Kopacka.
What is it about his name that gets people banned? I'm just curious. Because he's ex-military?
No, I think the same thing happened to him that happened to I can say this name here. I think Dane Elkins. So he's got a really, really, really vocal group of people that just when they're watching all the social media channels, and when someone mentions his name, they go after and start reporting to YouTube or TikTok or whatever. These people are besmirching our family member's name or whatever, and they just are vocal, and it gets people shut down. And so I think that's all it is. I think he's got a good PR camp of people that as soon as anyone starts talking about him, they get reported by the family and the friends that are in that camp, and they're just really good at it.
Who cares?
Huh?
He's dead. Who cares? He's dead. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously somebody cares, because I think that's what's happening, is that they're getting people shut down. Yeah.
That's what I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out why. In the beginning, when I started following you, and you would talk about him, and you would never say the name, and then you let it slip one time, and I was like, okay. I'm like, why can't we talk about him? So it's his family. They're just all.
Every time I mention Brett Kopacka's name, I get hammered by people. And again, I don't know. Is it a PR group of his friends and family, or is it military people who are like, quit besmirching the character of a Purple Heart recipient, or it's disgusting for you to blame somebody who has PTSD because it's a mental health condition they can't help. I don't know, but whatever the reason being, and that's why I'm always hesitant to say his name, is because when I say his name, people lose their ever-loving minds, and so I just kind of try to treat it with a little bit of kid gloves.
I get it. I get why you have to do it. But you know what? Okay, let's say he had PTSD and he snapped one night and he thought he was a nom or something. And he went in there and he killed a bunch of people because he thought they were enemy insurgents. It's very possible.
Sure. It's very. I think it's and he had the skills to do knife fighting, so he would have been trained on how to kill fast. And again, like I pointed this out before, you've heard me say it. The Dateline NBC comment that Ethan had his legs carved could be simply that somebody went for the femoral artery. It's you get taught that in knife fighting on how to take somebody out by cutting the femoral artery. You bleed out. You can't be saved if your femoral artery is cut close enough to the groin. So I don't know.
I hate this world, man. It just sucks here.
I get it.
Another thing I can't wait to hear or find out, and it's just got me riveted, because I feel how Kohberger and his dad were stopped 2 times within 8 or 12 minute time frame, whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
want to hear if that was actually really intentional, because I mean, I've been pulled over. I've been driving a lot for my whole life. Try to follow the rules, right? I've only been pulled over once. Okay, so it's really odd that they're going to get this guy on the same stretch of road within so many minutes. I don't know.
Once they're
It's gonna
watching
be really
him.
interesting.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions about that myself. The double stops. You know, if he was tailgating, he could have easily gotten stopped twice. But I don't know. Like a lot of people make something out of that. I don't know. I have mixed emotions. I could see how it could have.
My son
Just
got
randomly
stopped
happened.
twice in one day.
Yeah.
My son got stopped twice in one day, and
Sure.
he literally was not doing anything.
Yeah.
I guess he was doing something, but he got stopped because I think the back taillight was broken or whatever. He got stopped twice in one day, but again, there's a clear reason. Why
Right.
did these two traffic stops happen? Do we know? Was it because someone was swerving? Did somebody litter?
They stated
They
he was
failed.
following too close to the bumper of a truck in front of him. And here's the thing, so this will be one of the last points I make because I do want to wrap up at the top of the hour. But one of the things that I say, oh my gosh, you're going to get me on this rant, and I'm going to. Okay, so there was a friend of mine who even admitted that if you are two males in particular and you're doing the speed limit on an interstate highway, that makes you suspicious, because drug runners will obey all the rules and they tend to go in packs of two people, and so therefore that'll make you. And I think to myself, the asinine part of that logic in my mind is what you're telling people is that by obeying the law you become suspicious and it's a reason to pull you over. So, and I just feel like, do you realize how many cars on the road are doing the speed limit? It can't be true that if you do the speed limit that makes you suspicious and they're going to pull you over for doing the speed limit. And that's what they're trying to say. Well, you know, if it's two guys and you're obeying the speed limit, they're going to pull you over. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know how many cars are probably obeying the speed limit? A ton. They're not pulling over every car that's doing the speed limit. That's not probable cause to pull somebody over. But anyways, that's me.
Double standards, triple standards.
Right.
Well, nobody drives the speed limit here, so that would never happen in Dallas.
I use my
Because
blinker in my
we're
brain.
Do you know what our speed limit is, Lee? Our speed limit is 80 in some places.
Sure, yeah.
In the city.
Yeah.
In the city. And people are breaking it.
Wow.
We're breaking it. We're flying up and down the highway. We have a high five where it's 5 highways that come together in the middle of the sky. I don't understand how cars haven't flown off it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not 80. I think it's 80 if you're in the outskirts, so in the country part. But we've got 75 speed limits and people are breaking them.
It's
Like 90
as
going
an
90.
aside, and this is completely
Crazy.
random. As an aside, it's funny. My wife and I have noticed how crazily different drivers are in different cities. In the place where I grew up, everybody's rude and they cut each other off and they're speeding all the time, and it's just everyone's assholes. We moved to Seattle, in a big city, and people are super fucking polite. If you need to get over, people hit the brakes and let you in. They're like, I'm like, what is this? Like in my hometown, I would have to fight and freaking play bumper car to get into that hole because they're not letting me in, and they'll even speed up and close the gap so I can't get in. And in Seattle, you put a blinker on and like they back off and let you in. I'm like, that's weird. Like the drivers are so different in Seattle than they are in other
Road
places.
rage. It's because of the fear of road rage.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to
maybe.
get shot.
Yeah.
That's how it is here. You would think we were awful. Or actually, I mean, we drive fast, but for the most part, people let you over. I mean, I think it's like a road rage fear in the big city. Like, what if someone whips out so I don't know what the gun laws are in Washington. Here we can have them in our car and you don't even have to have a license.
Yeah, I think in
So-
Washington you can't have it in your car. You need to have it. You need to have your ammo separated from the gun itself. You can have the gun in the car, but you have to have your ammo clip in the trunk or vice versa.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I live in the country of
In
Texas.
Salt Lake City, here in Salt Lake City, oh my gosh, when we first moved here, it took me like 4 months to be gutsy enough to drive. They are crazy. They drive close enough to you on the freeway. You can reach your hand in their window and like tickle their nose. So not kidding. They're so crazy.
Wow.
Scary.
Well, everybody,
is-
I think we're
yeah.
gonna wrap up. I really appreciate the cool chat. I mean, even though these rooms aren't well attended, it was fun. I think it's fun to hang out and chit chat and get to know you guys. So, I really appreciate
Yeah.
you guys coming tonight, and hopefully the Tic Tac crew, the YouTube crew that hung out between 9 and 11 people, they enjoyed listening to the chat, even if they didn't get to participate. So, thanks everyone for doing it. I'm gonna sign out. I've got some probably videos to do and some research to do over Saturday. So I never have a day where I'm truly off. So I'll be putting out more content coming up in the future and moving into next week. So thank you guys for coming.
Yep. Okay. Hopefully the video came through. All right.
Yes,
Y'all have a good
it
night.
did.
Happy weekend.
Thank you.
You did? Okay.
Yep.
Let me know.
Okay.
All right.
You bet.
He's a cutie. The kid's cute. Okay. Bye.